Welcome to this EN 331 presentation at Herzing University Online. This presentation will help you understand how you can help your students meet objectives by measuring where they are with their skills. When you hear the word assessment, you might immediately think of tests. However, tests are only one kind of formal assessment, which measure a student's performance ability or knowledge in a particular area. They are instruments that are designed to give quantifiable measurements of students' performances using rubrics or a fixed system of scoring and a fixed time limit. In fact, outside of these formal methods, good teachers are always assessing their students, monitoring and evaluating their performance, and deciding what kind of feedback to give. A test can be thought of as a formal system of feedback. As a teacher, you will constantly be giving informal feedback as well. This informal feedback, whether positive, like nice job, or negative, like you need to study harder, is also a way of offering students an assessment. One of the things to keep in mind when designing and using tests is that they're used best in a holistic system of assessment that balances between formal and informal kinds of feedback, with each kind reinforcing one another. There are two basic kinds of tests. One kind is called norm-referenced. This means each student's score is compared to an average score, and students are ranked in relation to one another, and that average according to a numerical score and a percentile. In fact, this is their main purpose. The TOEFL, the SAT, and other kinds of standardized tests are norm-referenced tests. The advantage of this kind of test is that it can be quickly graded, often by a computer, and given to a large number of students in many different areas. The disadvantage is that it doesn't give much feedback other than the student's rank overall. The other kind of test which you might be creating and working with is called a criterion reference test, which means that it's designed to give feedback on the objectives you're teaching in your class. Because they're tailored to a particular class and curriculum, they take more work to create and grade. But the advantage is they give more detailed feedback on how the students are doing in the class. The concept of formative versus summative tests is an important one. Formative quizzes and assessments allow learners to see their progress without necessarily receiving a grade or being dock points for their performance. Summative tests are a measure of what's learned and are usually formal exercises that record a traditional grade or point total. You can use formative exercises and summative exercises in your classroom in conjunction with one another. And this is very helpful for the learners who have a chance to see their performance without the pressure of receiving a grade. If you're not provided with tests as part of your course curriculum, or if you want to tailor those tests to match your objectives more closely, you'll have to make your own. Remember, when making your own test, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can look at other examples and adapt them. The following is a simple set of steps to guide you through making a test. Refer to your course objectives for the unit. What are all the things you've taught your students in that unit, and what do you expect them to know? A test is an opportunity to review what you've taught, not to introduce new or extra material. Second, draw up an outline based on those objectives. Decide how long you want the test to last, how many and what kind of questions that you want to use for each area, and make sure those questions clearly test the knowledge of the objectives of the course. Third, create a draft of the following your outline. Then make sure each section has the following things: clear, simple directions, clear examples, clear relation to the objective, simple, appropriate language, a level of difficulty that matches the student's abilities. As we mentioned above, you will always be in the process of observing your learners and how they're proceeding with the material. Keeping with CLT techniques, you'll be grading speaking abilities by having short dialogues and role plays with students. This can be either in a formal or informal setting. You can tell them that they're being tested, or you can let them know that they're being observed, but not tell them exactly how or when you're testing them. This might be appropriate for smaller formative evaluations and skill check exercises. Using role playing for assessment is effective because most of the class is made up of practicing speech, and this keeps the students where they're comfortable. You can assess them talking to you or talking to each other, and you can use a rubric for this exercise, which we'll go through in the rubric walkthrough. There are a number of other ways you can assess competency besides observing speech and giving tests. Projects, writing short papers and presentations can all gauge your students' language development and retention of material. In recent years, portfolios have become a popular alternative to time tests when assessing student performance. Portfolios collect examples of a student's best work and demonstrate his/her progress, effort, and achievement throughout the class. These require more effort and evaluation on the part of the teacher, but their advantage is they give the students a tangible example of his or her progress and build confidence and pride. Keep in mind when introducing the assignment that many students will be unfamiliar with the concept of a portfolio, so make it clear what the purpose of it is and what kind of work should go into it. If possible, show them a sample and give them time to revise the work that they'll submit to their final portfolio. There are other ways you can integrate Web 2.0 tools into projects that might include multimedia projects, wikis, or social media. The possibilities these days are endless. Thank you for watching this EN 331 presentation on assessment in the ESL classroom.